And now it makes sense to me.
Now it makes sense. All the times that I said that.
Yeah. Oh, but no one heard that because we weren't actually on the clock yet. Now we're on the
You
clock.
are on the clock.
You are
But you
on the
know what's
clock.
sad is mine didn't do it when we were
I
doing our
know.
draft. I never heard it once on my side, and I don't know
Oh,
why.
I'm sorry. I don't think I ever heard it, but I heard it in enough in the background that I was like, oh, I get what was happening.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, before we kick off, really quick, David Faith, thank you so much for putting into our Montana fun. If you're just joining
Und.
us and you're fun, if you're just joining us and you don't know what's happening, anytime someone sends us a super chat, we put that money towards adventures that we're going to take, like traveling. So like our Bryce Canyon adventure that just happened is where we put the money from the super chats. Now we're fundraising hypothetically for Montana. So if you do
I've
the
been
super
doing
chat,
some
that's what's
research.
happening.
No,
On
Wyoming,
Montana.
not Montana.
Why? I'm sorry, Wyoming. I want
But
to go
no,
to
David says
Montana.
Montana. Well, either way, I have been doing research on it, and my only concern with going up to Yellowstone is that some of the roads start to close down in November, so we may have a little bit of an issue and not be able to access all of the. So I don't know.
But
That's not a conversation for the
this is
fantasy
not a fantasy
football.
football conversation. That's a channel conversation, but just so that everyone understands what the
And
super
just so
chat is
everyone
about.
is aware, Jason Z. Brown is here, and we hate him.
Jason C, you're
I
uninvited.
laughed so hard.
It
You're
was
uninvited.
too perfect because you have been singing it for weeks. Okay, so those people that are joining us, this last week was our first week of fantasy football. Jason C. Brown won, which makes me so unhappy. Like for a first week, if it had been anybody else, I would have been super okay with losing. Well, not okay, but like okay enough because like I'm learning. But that it's Jason C. Brown.
You know, there are some things to take solace in that we did make one really good decision. We had substituted David Johnson for Nick Chubb, who Nick Chubb only got 6 points. He was projected at like 11. Johnson was
Mm-hmm.
projected at, I think, 10 maybe. And we made that move and he ended up with 16. So we made a good move there,
Yeah.
but you know what lost us the game though?
What lost us the game?
Greg the Leg missing that 53-yard field goal,
Okay,
actually.
great.
That's the
Yeah.
difference
I was
of the
say
game.
it's got to be one of our last two guys, and
Yeah, well, our last two guys
yeah,
didn't. Now, I mean, you don't really normally count on your kicker to win the game for you.
right.
And a 53-yard field goal is really long.
Well, and I want
But
to say, oh yeah, I want to say that I feel a little smarter in that when we were like 109 to like 103, whatever it was on Sunday, and I looked at all the stats and I was like, oh, we're fucked because oops, now we lost our monetization. It's not good because I could tell from the numbers and like what he was projected to do and like or
yeah,
even before that, I could tell by like what we had left. I was like, ooh, this is dicey because I knew like kickers don't get many points. I learned a thing is what I'm trying to say. And I genuinely cheered for football this week.
yeah.
Like I had my phone in my hands and I was walking from room to room. I'm like, go, 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 like yelling at, I forget who it was. I think 31. So that was,
31.
that was.
I have to show you where you can find their number in the pop-up.
I
Inside
started
the,
looking.
you found
Oh,
it?
okay. I
No,
started
you can find it
Googling
within the
them.
app.
Yeah.
Within the
Okay.
app, there's a place to easily find it. You just have to know where it is. It's easy to get to though.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't poor choices. We made really
No.
decent choices actually. Deke, we didn't. Now the one thing we didn't do right was we didn't start DK Metcalf. But there
Okay.
was no way of knowing, like he wasn't projected to do as well as he was, and there was no way of
Right.
knowing that Cooper Cup was going to
Gonna
just
right.
not show up at all. That was
Wait,
that
he
was
didn't even go to the game? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Well, I did have this whole like conniption fit during one game. I'm like, where are our players? Like, I can't. There two on the field. So it's Sunday. Two on the field. I'm like, I can't find either of them right now. Like,
yeah.
I'm looking for them, like yelling at my phone. Like, I can't find either of you. I had to turn it off for a second. I was like, I don't know what's happening
Just
right
getting so
now.
upset with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know what's happening. I didn't want to embarrass myself by asking either of you, like, are our players on the field right now? Because
No,
I
I
could,
mean it happens all the time though, where
yeah,
you go, wait a minute, where has like if you're not watching that game, I'll go, is this person even playing? They have zero touches, and you go and you find out that it's been targeted at them 4 times and they've dropped it each time. That didn't
yeah.
happen with us. No,
It
we
was like, well,
had
I missed the beginning where they like everybody runs out and they announce who's there. So like I didn't know what was
you know
happening.
they're not gonna you're not gonna see that part. That's
Okay.
not,
That's
that
not a
doesn't
part I get to
really,
see.
yeah, that's not part you really
Oh.
get to see.
Oh, okay.
No, but you can within the app see if they're at zero, you can see, maybe they have, just 9 yards right now, or, you
Okay.
can, there's places in there. I'll show you how to
Okay.
access that information. But our big disappointments this week, were Godwin, who
Right.
I
You
guess
were very upset with
I'm very
Godwin
upset with Godwin actually, and Cooper Cup.
and Cooper
And
Cup.
I
Yeah.
still love Cooper Cup, and I'm not gonna, I mean, I actually am not planning on starting him next week. That's
Okay.
a conversation we have to have. But I think, Godwin, on the other hand, like, I don't know that I want to keep him. I'm not ready to drop
Okay.
him yet, but
Right.
I don't like his dynamic with Brady, which is the quarterback, Tom
Mhm.
Brady.
I'm ready. I know that name.
They did not sync up well at all. Brady,
Hmm.
and then Godwin, throughout the game, as he wasn't getting targeted, started to do the thing where it's like you can tell from the way he's lined up that the ball's not coming to him. Like, he starts to
Okay.
get this body language that, it's not coming to me this play, and then he jumps out there, and you're like, no, it's never going to come to you then. Like, Brady's really good at like going down the line and
Yeah.
finding who his next target is, and Godwin was just, nope,
Got
not
it.
really playing.
He's
So
not using the law of attraction in his favor to get the
no,
ball, which is unacceptable.
I don't like him. I didn't know any much about him before. I was, like, it was one of those where he was ranked high, on paper looked good. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to turn around, but as of right now, Godwin is on my shit list. And I
Okay.
do not think
Right.
that we will be, I don't know that we will be keeping him that long.
Right.
Um,
That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. We
Because
only
yeah.
lost by 6. We did
That's
get
not
what we were projected to get.
okay. So
Um,
yeah, at least that.
So
At
it
least you
wasn't
didn't.
coaching problems, and I don't think it was drafting problems. Jason just ended up having a real, who was it, on your team, Jason, that,
Yeah, he one
he's
that
got
really
that,
overperformed. Yeah.
was it, Hilaire, who way overperformed?
Yeah.
No, also
Wasn't
your
it?
quarterback, well, yes, but
Oh,
his quarterback also, overperformed. All 3 of his quarterbacks. You got the highest scoring bench out there, Jason, with your
high draft
Rodgers and
overachievers.
Wilson on your bench? I mean, this is ridiculous. That is a glut of quarterbacks. Not supposed to happen like that.
High draft overachievers. All right, Jason. All right.
Yeah, Jason, it's got lucky.
Yeah,
He
you get
didn't.
lucky.
What's funny is Jason's shit talking now, but up until he won, he didn't know if he was going to win. He was.
Yeah.
There was a really good chance going into Monday night. He was down by 6 and had, Uh, who did he have last night?
Oh,
Henry.
hmm
Yeah, Derrick
yeah,
Henry last
Henry.
night.
Henry. Yeah.
And there was like really very, very little chance that Derrick Henry was going to get held to 5 points or to 6 and we could tie.
Yeah.
But it did kind of like really slowly get there. It wasn't until the second half that like he finally got any real points.
Boo.
Yes, and our kicker let us down. But
Yeah.
but it's Greg the Leg. It's
Zerlin.
I
I
am just as good at pronouncing people's names that are not in our chat room
that are
in the
yes.
real life.
What is Jason says I have trade bait QBs. What's that mean?
Later on, he's going to want someone to offer him something he needs wide receivers. He's going to need wide receivers.
Okay.
And someone is going to be like, but I want Rodgers. I'll give you my good wide receiver.
I'll wheel in deal for a wide receiver is what he just said.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Gotcha.
we don't have any wide receivers to offer. Our wide receivers are where most of my ire lies.
Okay.
So we don't have trade bait. Well, actually, we don't know that we don't yet. We have a lot of running backs we have a glut of running backs and don't really
We do.
know.
Yeah,
No,
we have a bunch of running backs.
and they did well.
Oh wait. Did we ever talk about what happened this morning?
No, this morning we made
Okay.
a trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to hear. Like we talked about it late last night, but it
Oh,
was
you
gonna
don't even
happen
know who we
really
ended up picking up, do
No,
you?
I don't know
No.
yet. Yeah, I kind of like decide. I was gonna text you this morning, and go, how did it go? What happened? And it's like, wait, we'll just save it for the live stream because you might as well just tell me live.
Yeah, I mean, I called you last night and explained how ad drops work, and
Right.
and that in the morning ad drops were going to happen, and we had to be on it. And I
It's
happened to
6
be up
a.m. and
early
you
enough.
gotta be up. Yeah.
Well, I was up at 7, so I wasn't planning on like setting my alarm. Justin had already made three trades by the time I woke
Of
up,
course he did.
which also is something that we have to talk about. But Jason's here, and I don't know if we can talk about it now.
Oh,
No,
right.
we picked
Yeah.
up Jamison Crowder. We
Okay, we
dropped,
got
yeah,
Crowder. All right.
we picked up Jameson Crowder because now I
Bigger,
can go
louder,
Crowder.
louder. Got it.
Yeah, which we like
Crowder.
to.
Yeah.
Although there's a problem with Jameson Crowder
What's the
in
problem?
that somebody else on his team, and I don't remember who it is, went out injured with
Okay.
a Achilles, hamstrings, one of those that's not coming back. And it will mean that he will be covered more by the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So his numbers might take a hit from that. But he did really well this
Oh,
week.
okay.
It was between him, we were looking at Sammy Watkins. And we still could go get those. We have an extra quarterback that we don't need on our because
Right.
we have Lamar Jackson. We're not gonna not
Right.
start Lamar Jackson. And if we do end up needing another quarterback, I really might just go play it week by week because there's not like someone out there that I desire. But so we could drop Stafford and go pick up Watkins, and the other one we were looking at was Sneed.
Sneed. I got a
We
need
don't
for Sneed.
need, yeah, I would love to have Sneed and be able to say that
Just
all
so we
year.
could do that.
The
Yeah.
need, the
I got a
need for
need
Sneed.
Sneed.
So our question this week is going to be, who are we going to start at running back?
Okay.
Our running back scenario, here, let me pull it up, is
Trade your quarterback for 5 nickelbacks. Stop that summer test.
I need change for my quarterback.
Someone sent me the
That's
best.
definitely not where I want to be.
While you're doing that, someone sent
Yeah.
me the best, very appropriate for our group joke. Where did it go? Well, of course, now I can't pull it up. This is always what happens.
Okay, so our running back situation. We've got Todd Gurley, Atlanta, who's playing Dallas.
Okay.
We have David Johnson of Houston, who's playing Baltimore, those are the two we started this week. They did
Right,
well for us. But we also have Nick Chubb of Cleveland, who's playing Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is never any good. Kenyon Drake of Arizona, who's playing Washington, and Washington didn't do well this week, if I remember. Their defense was not great.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm lying about that. Maybe their defense was great and I'm wrong. And DeAndre Swift of Detroit with Green Bay. Yeah, so the thing is, we started Gurley and Johnson this week, and they actually are projected lower than both Chubb and Drake this week.
Really?
But Chubb didn't do all that great.
Yeah.
And Johnson did. But Johnson's playing Baltimore, and Baltimore is a solid defense. So we also might want to go and look at maybe picking up a different defense for this week. Not in general. We have the Patriots, and they did really well. They got us 18 points. But the Patriots are playing Seattle, and Russell Wilson does score quite a bit. So we could look to see if there is a defense out there that is worth grabbing.
Okay.
But yeah, so we need to look at whether or not Gurley against Dallas. Dallas is a shit show.
Why is Dallas a shit show?
Dallas just always is. Dallas hasn't been good since they were good. I know that sounds stupid, but everybody knows what I'm talking about.
I remember cheering for Dallas when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Really young.
That was the last time Dallas was any good. Yeah.
I mean, I want to say that was the 80s.
Yes, Dallas hasn't been good since they've been good.
Yeah,
that was
I remember
late 80s, early 90s. Dallas was a powerhouse, and they just have
not so
not been.
Yeah, I remember in the 80s, like drawing on chalk on my sidewalk, go Dallas or something like that. Like, during a sporting event, during Super Bowl or something like that. So long time ago.
Oh, Jason corrected me. I said that Justin had made 3 trades. No, Justin made 3 ad drops. Yes.
Oh, what's the difference?
A trade is with another team.
Oh, okay.
An ad drop is when you just drop a player.
Okay.
So that's the thing is, and this is what I was saying, Justin, and I'll say this while Jason's here anyway, Justin dropped the Rams to pick up a player, which the Rams I kind of like. I don't really like them for this week, though. I would still start the Patriots over them, but the Rams are... Rams, Justin wasn't impressed with them this week. However, the Rams defense is normally pretty good. Pretty good. So this week, week 2, the Goat Hoarders.
The G.O.A.T Hoarders
are playing Monkey Trouble, which is my middle sister.
So
I don't know. I think we're probably projected to win because her team normally isn't very good. Justin had a bit of a crisis of conscience last night. I can't say that.
Really?
Uh,
Why?
I know for Justin, that's weird.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. I need to hear all
It
about
only
this.
happens with football, with fantasy football. So Justin's the commissioner, and so he does have the ability to, like, say we couldn't get to our computer and we were trying to add drop or something. Like, we
Yeah.
could technically call Justin and say, "Can you sign in and drop this guy? Our computer's acting up." Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin, the Lemurs, my former team for this year. I'm trying not to
Not
to be.
excited at all about that.
And I don't get to be part of the Lemurs this year. I'm a silent partner. So the Lemurs were playing Monkey Trouble, and it was last night's game. Deborah had a player who wasn't going to be playing in her active roster. Now, the real problem came down to she didn't have someone on because it was the last game. She didn't have someone on her bench she could just substitute in. She would have had to drop a player, pick somebody up, which is why things got tricky. Justin was playing her, and it was a close enough game that that player may make that zero made a difference in the win or loss. Now, Justin will always call whomever he's playing against and say, that player's not starting. Like, he's never taken advantage of someone sleeping on their draft or on their lineup. But Deborah is off in the National Guard right now, she can't get to her, team. So he's trying to get a hold of my mom to get her to, do you want to go in there and make these decisions for her? Because he can't make those decisions. One, he can't make them for her anyway, but two, he can't make them because he's playing her. So it was ended up not being able to change it. And, the Lemurs took full advantage of my sister being off in the National Guard.
Justin says, Tara, please take a moment and explain fantasy football in 20 words or less. Like, I don't know if I could do it in 20 words or less.
Do it.
No. Oh, embarrassing. Thanks for pimping me out, guys. Fantasy football is when you pick a bunch of players from a bunch of other teams and you pretend like they're your team, and your fake team plays against another fake team with fake points. No, they're real points. And then
the fake or real points, I don't think is
real points because they're based on actual stats. Yeah. So it's not like imaginary points. Start again.
No, that was great. Like, if someone had no idea what fantasy football was, I think they'd have come away with a clearer understanding.
Clearer understanding, not a precise one. By the end of this season, I hope I can explain it better. Like more.
I don't know that I could.
My pitch. Yeah.
I don't know that I could. Yeah. But anyway, so yes, the Lemurs lost. Came down to last night's last game.
Jason did a good job. Anyway,
Jason probably just went to Wikipedia.
Probably. Jason cheats. Anyways, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Do we have to do the math? No. Which is also why I don't play darts.
Goodness. Right. Which is the real reason she does not play D&D, because of all the math. No, that's not true.
Completely off topic. Oh, they're not in the room. We'll have to share those on Shush. The dice we got are Rose Mesa. Mesa?
I think Mesa.
And
Patrick.
Mine, I didn't have like a note or anything, so I just have no. Is it just from Rose?
No, there was no note. No, it's from all three of them. It's
okay,
from
they
Ash,
sent
Patrick,
those two.
and Rose.
That they're the team that put together joining call, which should be coming out soonish.
Get a hold of Ash.
But they sent us each our own D&D dice, but they're different. Like, mine are blue and purple swirly, and I love them. They're perfect for me.
Yeah,
and yours look like liquid luck. We'll show them during
And I think in person, well, they're darker. I don't know. And they're like the same color palette as my cat, so I love them.
Really?
But honestly, I'm not sure if those were supposed to be mine, because Brandon got his sent in the same package, and there's no note or identifying marks, and he had a blue set. And since I was wearing blue, I couldn't tell.
I was thinking yours with the gold cup.
Ooh, good point. I mean, I like mine. Mine look very fierce, like little tigers that are going.
And he was in blue, wasn't he?
I think he was.
Yeah.
See, he likes blue, so I let him pick.
Whatever. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I let him pick, and then I was like, you're never gonna have another set of dice in your life, so I will take whatever one you don't want. Yeah. And
D&D
I
dice.
love
They
them.
were D&D dice.
D&D dice.
Yeah.
So speaking of another fantasy game that you play with math and imaginary circumstances, but with real world consequences because you do get mad at each other.
With real world consequences. Yes, fantasy football does have real world consequences in that we don't want to talk to
and that
ever again.
Jason is not our friend anymore.
And that friendship over.
Oh, so funny. I loved it in the last, and because of this show, I have now done Dungeons and Dragons in these two things that like I think are super fun. I probably would never have done on my own accord, but
Yeah.
it's fun to learn about this. Like, I don't know if I would ever join a fantasy football league on my own.
Yeah.
At this point, we're early on. I could change my mind. We all saw what happened with monster trucks, so it could change because I'm still confused.
Right. No, right now you had a loss. So
I
can
lost.
See, I know, but like after a win, like you could be strutting around.
Right. Well, and I've
like
also spent the week trying to understand football. So like I'm just lost.
It's a lot. And
you guys
there
are
were
talking
things
and I'm just like
there are a lot of things that like need that'll happen during the game that one are football things that are, you know, that are hard to understand, but then also there's fantasy football things that are hard to understand. Like our player could be, we have one of our players, I don't remember who it is, also does run backs, kick returns. Punt returns. I don't remember which one I'm supposed to say there. I always get punt and kick. Anyway, so but those points, if our player, let's just say it was, let's say it was Julio Jones. Julio Jones catches one of those kicks that's kicked down the field, and he runs it back for a touchdown. That's not our points. That goes to defense and special teams points.
Gotcha.
It has to be on offense when it's happening. Right. So we do have players, and sometimes that'll happen too, where you'll have a player who does both. We do have one, and I don't remember who it is particularly, that does do punt returns, kick returns, punt returns. I think that's the right one. Cooper Cup does. There's one of our other guys does too. Anyway, so we wouldn't get those points. Now, also that means that you can, if you have the defense and your quarterback throws so let's see, the Patriots defense, right? We have the Patriots defense, but the Patriots quarterback, Cam Newton, throws an interception. The Patriots defense isn't on the field. And the defense for the other team runs it back for a touchdown. You have lost points as a defense, even though your defense isn't on the field because your team allowed points. So, I mean, there's just like these weird things that, exactly. Yeah. There's weird things that...
Like if it wasn't the time of COVID, I would be like, Jason, can I come over to your house and watch the game with you? And you can explain football to me.
Yeah.
And then, because I really need, like, it's really hard when we're separate and I'm like trying to like follow I really wish that things were just slightly different so that I could like sit with somebody during like one game a week and be like, could you talk me through? Yeah. Because like listening to the reporting part is too much. I need to find a video online that's like, here's the basic of football. Here's
I bet there happening.
Are. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
Like football for dummies.
The thing is, there are so many weird, not weird rules. It's just like the nuances of what's a catch. And we mean like, two people can watch the same play and go, that's not a catch, you know, or it's like, it's really, there's really, like, so a catch in football, the guy catches the ball, but has to make a football move or take, is it 3 steps? I don't know. There's some weird, like, before it's actually a catch. If he drops it within those, then it's not a catch. And it's all up to interpretation of the ref at times. And then we did have like one big...
2 steps, says Jason.
2 steps. We did have one big play that came back because of a pass interference call.
Okay.
That was not pass interference. You know, like, it's just like, it's infuriating. There's just things where it's like, that didn't happen. You end up just yelling at your television for most of it. You know?
Okay. which is what Fickus told me.
It's very infuriating.
We had a very drunken conversation about fantasy football where he's like, he's like yelling about how he wasn't going to do it this year because it's all injuries and blah, blah. It's infuriating. I don't know why I would do something that makes me so mad. I'm like, you're ruining fantasy football for me already.
And I haven't even started
yet.
Meanwhile, the Dodgers were just having a crap game against last night, so I was in a bad mood all around. I was yelling things like, why isn't anything going my way? The whole world is against me.
Meanwhile, it's just the sport part of your life. Everything else is kind of great.
Oh, whatever.
I need to play Madden on Xbox. You're just introducing more problems, Mudman. Now I have to learn how to play a video game. You're not there for Borderlands. I haven't played video games in years. Your hair is going your way, says Jason. So, that's just true.
Well, after
this disaster.
This is it, like coming back from the dead when that woman messed up my bank so bad. Anyway, so the only other thing that I want to cover before we go is Steven Sims.
Oh, right.
So in case you guys didn't hear, we picked our last player. YouTube is not receiving enough to maintain your stream.
Here we go again.
What happens there?
Guys, if you lose us.
But Steven Sims, we picked up a Steve for the Steve squad.
For the Steve squad.
He's our last pick of the draft. We're going to keep him right now because he was targeted 3 times and caught 100% of those targets. So that may be that like his, quarterback goes, you know what? I kind of like him. I'm going to keep throwing to him.
They're meshing. His LOA is on point. It's all there.
So, and for each of those catches, he ended with 50 yards. So that's also good. So we're going to go ahead and hold on to him. We're going to keep him for now, but he's on the chopping block if we need to pick somebody up. Okay. We may need that spot on our roster. It's not personal Steves.
It's not personal Steves. Just you need to know that up front. But, we did pick it because of you, because we didn't name ourselves the Steve Squad.
Yeah. So we'll see if we can keep a roster slot for Steven Sims.
Yes. Okay. So what we need to do now, not necessarily right this second, but this week, we have to decide our lineup for the coming week against the new team that we're up against, Monkey Trouble, which is your sister, which I won't, if she wins, I won't hate her nearly as much. It's just that it's Jason, and Jason and I have preconditioning competitive stuff happening already between us. So, and he used this opportunity to shit talk me on the thread with those other people that we're competing with. So how dare you, Jason Brown? How dare you, sir?
Justin wants us to give a rundown of what our lineup is this week. Well, that's what we did kinda, but I don't know. It's not set right now. Right now, we got Lamar Jackson's getting started against Houston. Yeah, for sure. We got Gurley and Johnson for our running backs right now, but we need to look at Chubb and Drake both and see if maybe we want to. Chubb's projected 12. Johnson and Gurley are both projected 10, but this week Chubb got like 4 on our bench, so it's not 6, so it's not a show. But he's playing Cincinnati, so that might be worth going back in. I mean, Chubb should be good. There's no reason that he should have performed the way he did. I didn't start him last week. We discussed because he was playing, I don't remember who, but it was a hard team, and I thought that we had a better matchup with Johnson. And then for wide receiver / tight ends, we need 3 of those right now. In the game we have, if it was to go now, we have Godwin, Jones, and Metcalf. On our bench, our other options are Jamison Crowder, Hunter Henry.
I had to do it.
Little Cooper Kupp and Steven Sims. We're probably not starting Steven Sims.
Oh my God. Summer test, we can't bribe the commissioner, but thank you so much.
What?
Summer below average is his name today, but Summer test put in $10 for the
to
commissioner bribe.
I'm all for that. So we got to choose between, Crowder, Henry, Kupp, Sims, if any of those should go in over Godwin, Jones, and Metcalf. Excuse me, Jones would be the one that Jones is predicted at 12.8 points, but Godwin is predicted at 10 points, but I didn't like him. And so we may put Crowder in over that, but Crowder's only predicted at 8, so it would be another gamble like we did with Johnson last week, which actually worked out. And then we have the
Right.
Patriots and we have Greg the Leg. So
Okay. And we're talking about maybe picking up another defense?
maybe the Patriots are playing against Seattle. They're projected at 11 points.
Let's see. Godwin is playing
Godwin's playing Carolina.
Carolina. Yeah. He's got 10. Johnson's 10. Metcalf is 10. Jones is 12. Okay, great. Yeah. And then looking at I am continually. And Chubb didn't do so great, but he's projected to do better this week.
Chubb was projected to do better than he did this week too, though. But
Right, yeah.
Chubb was playing, and I don't remember who Chubb played. That I will find out. Chubb was just playing Baltimore, and Baltimore is a good defense, which is why we didn't start him. But also worth mentioning that David Johnson, who we did start over Chubb, is playing Baltimore this week. So maybe that may be something to take into consideration.
Switching out Johnson
Chubb for Johnson
because and Baltimore's on
I do like playing matchups. I mean, if you don't have a player that's like just over the top good, I do often I'll play the matchups more. Now Chubb is versus Cincinnati, and Cincinnati should be.
What's Cincinnati like on their defense?
Cincinnati as a team is just.
Oh, okay. As a team, they're just kind of. So switching out Chubb for Johnson because of the team.
Potentially, yeah, I think so.
Okay,
but that's not our real question mark. Our wide receiver is where we need to make some real decisions. Wide receiver is we got
wide receivers.
Godwin, Jones, and Metcalf in there. I think Jones and Metcalf get the start. I'm not 100% sure about Godwin just because he just didn't get targeted this last week and didn't catch the ball when he was.
Right.
So we could try to start Jamison Crowder, who just had a monster week. But they're playing. He's playing San Francisco. Francisco is notorious. I mean, is almost always has a good defense. I don't know much about them this week. They're ranked number 13 against the wide receiver. Let's see. Godwin is playing Carolina. Same. It's about same. Yeah, I think we might start Crowder. He just had but that was the thing. Crowder, let's see. Crowder caught 7 of his 13 targets for 115 yards and a touchdown on Sunday's loss to the Bills. Oh, but they were playing the Bills. I know the Bills defense is supposed to be good this year. But the problem with Crowder is that running back Le'Veon Bell suffered a hamstring injury. So now the 49ers defense will be able to put more, they might be able to double team Crowder instead of having to cover Bell. So, I mean, that's one of those interesting things about your wide receivers. I mean, just general football, not just fantasy football, is that the more targets and the more threats that your team has. So you have a good running back. That means they have to cover that running back. And as a wide receiver, you don't get double teamed. But if you're the only good player on your team, then they will just double team you and they'll run the ball the rest of the time. Or, so the fact that Le'Veon Bell is not going to be there, who is a really good running back, means that defenses don't have to cover the run as much. Now they can cover the wide receivers better. So it just something to take into account. I don't think it's against San Francisco. I don't know. We might have to flip a coin. I don't know. That's a decision that we have to make, and I don't know that it's going to happen at this very moment.
No, of course not. No, we're just having our discussion. This is not the end scenario because we don't want that out in the world, right? That's a secret. So we do it, something like that.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. People can check our lineup.
Oh, that's true. I guess so.
It's very loud there.
The world is ending right now outside.
Well, that's true.
That's true.
The world's gonna end while we're a losing team.
No, we have to win at least once. See, I don't know I'm so sorry. This is insane. No, pretty intense. It's par for the course. These are just nuts. And then the poor dog across the street, every time an ambulance goes by, I can tell an ambulance is about to go by because the dog howls first.
Yeah, I can hear it first.
Yeah. Meanwhile, my cat doesn't care. She's just lying there. She's not going to protect me.
Yeah.
Useless. Useless. Anyways, okay, cool. Awesome. All right. I feel like I had a somewhat competent conversation with you just now about what we're doing.
You did. I think
Yeah.
part of our chat doesn't even have any idea what we were talking about. It was over their
Well, yeah.
heads.
Yeah. I'm a little proud of myself that I got that far and before I got lost again. But I have to keep asking, like, is that a good defense? I don't know what's happening in football.
Well, and then like I said, I haven't watched the last 2 years, so I
Right.
don't really know. I can only go off of like, and it fluctuates. Like the Saints defense 5 years ago was the worst defense in all of NFL history.
Hmm.
And right now their defense is actually pretty good. So it's
Yeah.
like and they notoriously like I mean it fluctuates. Like the Vikings defense has been one of the best defenses in the past, 3 years, but
Yeah.
not necessarily last year, but I'm saying within the past 3 years, they've had one of the best defenses. And this year, they're just mediocre, it looks like.
Right.
But, so there's no, like, I don't really know. I can only go, they normally are a good defense.
Yeah.
I
And they
mean,
didn't do that
Baltimore is almost always a good defense.
they didn't do that pre-play thing that you guys talked about where you get to kind of see how
Preseason.
everyone's playing.
Yeah.
Preseason. They didn't do a preseason so anyway, and nobody knows what's happening, honestly. Just like with everything else. Nobody knows what's happening.
Okay. Well, I think that is week
Done.
one.
All right, week
Week
one.
one in the books.
In the
It
books,
was a loss.
a loss.
The Goats took
Mostly
a
mad.
loss.
Mostly mad that it was against Jason.
Yeah.
More than anything else. I just wanted to have something to hold over his head. Now I don't have
Well,
that.
we'll
I'm
get
gonna
to
have
play him
wait.
again.
Yeah, I'm going to wait till what?
Week
Playoffs is when we
7, week 6.
I don't know.
How many leagues are
Later.
there? There's 8 in our league, so it means week 7. Week
But I will be paying attention to
8.
what happens with Jason's team this week. And if he loses, I'm just going to
He's
I'm
playing the
just
Lemurs.
even better. So now he has to come back next week and I hope
Oh no, I
what?
was just gonna say. So this league, we used to have a family in this league. Well, this is my family is all in this league, but we used to have
Yeah.
another family, that 3 teams, and they would at the end of the season they would like trade players between each other to like stack for like a winning team. Like that's like there's so many rules we had to create so that people couldn't do it. There's like towards the end of the season,
Wow.
the trades get down to
You had
like
to
there has to
create
be
rules to prevent
yeah
cheating.
yeah
Jeez, Lord,
yeah
come on, just play.
collusion yeah.
Collusion. No need to collude. Boo. Boo
But we
heads.
could. Justin, do you need anything to beat Jason? Is what I'm saying.
Break the rules that you set up in the past
Yeah.
just to get back at
Well,
Jason.
they benefit me this time. I'm not even trying to win. I'm just trying to beat Jason.
That's what I was talking to Ficus earlier today. I was like, "Hey, is the Zoom free?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Natalie and I have to go live and talk about how much we hate Jason."
Yeah, basically. Well, we were watching the game. I know I've already started the sign off like 3 times. We were
Sorry.
watching the game the other day and on Sunday, and I was like, please don't let this be a bad decision. It was somebody we moved in there. I think it was the Johnson move or what, somebody that like, that was a question mark. And Justin's like, well, he'll do better in the next half of the season or, something like that. And he ended up doing
Yeah.
great. But it was one of those where I was like, Justin, I am doing this in front of people. Like, this isn't just like the teams, like we're all in here and I made a bet. No, I have to go live and justify my actions. And I get done with each of these and I go, I sounded like I knew what I was talking about, right? And
Oh my
Justin's like,
God.
yes, it sounded like I knew what I was talking about, right?
This is
I get
okay,
very
right? We're doing
self-conscious
okay.
about it.
Oh, well, I mean, people who actually know what they're doing on fantasy football are going to get in here and like click, 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 click. I can just see the comments now. And I'm like, and they keep reiterating, I don't know what's happening. The whole point is to try this for the first time and learn it in a season. If we were going to make a video out of it, that was going to be a mistake because I can fully see how that would not have worked out now because this is so complicated. So anyways, all right, let's sign off.
Okie doke.
For real this time. All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. So this is our new live stream we're going to be doing once a week. Most likely we're going to keep it at noon, but definitely always Tuesday. I was thinking we might go earlier, but I don't know. We'll talk about it later. So tune in with us and we'll give you guys the wrap up on what happened last week for our fantasy football adventure. We're trying our best. So far, we're down 1. Boo.
Down
Piss.
1.
Down
Wah,
1.
wah.
But we got this. we're gonna go do a new lineup, and it's I'm gonna go figure out how to learn about football in a week. I'm gonna go watch some YouTube videos about football.
I
Just
feel like
like
there's probably movies
football.
that you can watch. Like just watch a
I'm gonna
football
go
movie.
watch Rudy and figure
Yes.
out
Everything
football.
you need to know you can learn from watching. That's not true at all. There's like
That's
no
the
football
step.
in that movie. There's
That's
no
the
real
step I
football.
missed this week. I need a big brother in the worst way. All right, I gotta go. Bye,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Watch Wildcats. Football.